friends. I am Sanjay Mansukhani from changedestiny.in, and we are now covering the Sankhya Darshan. Sankhya Darshan is the theory, is the fundamental principles on which the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are based. So dear friends, today we are going to look at a very different concept of evolution. And let me tell you, it is the most powerful concept of evolution which you may ever hear, understand and implement in your life. It gives you the power of literally God to evolve this creation, to transform this creation, to create a creation which you desire, and you can do it entirely on your own using the principles of Sankhya Darshan, Sankhya philosophy. This philosophy of Sankhya was given by Kapila Muni thousands of years back, and this incidentally is the first philosophy, first darshana from the land of India. And this particular philosophy was propounded by Kapila Muni to find a solution to human sorrow in a permanent way. And what a solution he has given. It is phenomenal. It may be a bit difficult to comprehend, difficult to digest, difficult to believe in, but let me tell you, listen to me quietly and try and comprehend what I am telling you about this theory of evolution of our creation. It is based entirely on principles. It is based entirely on concepts. It is based entirely on mental constructs. And you will find with contemplation, with some form of meditation on what I am telling you, the depth of this whole thing. And then you will realize the immense power you have in this creation. You will realize that you are in the driver's seat of this creation, and you are not some minuscule part of this creation. You are the creator of this creation. You can change, modify, eliminate this creation as you wish, as you desire, as you want to. That is the beauty of this whole theory of evolution from Sankhya. My dear friends, this is the biggest gift from the land of India to modern world. This is the biggest gift. It is bigger than the concept of zero, far, far bigger. It is bigger, far, far bigger than meditation. It is far, far bigger than the asanas and the pranayam which you so devoutly believe in and practice. This is the crux of the whole creation. This is the major, I would say, contribution, phenomenal contribution, in my view, the highest contribution made by any man on this planet. So that man was Kapila Muni. And let me present to you his contribution. And let me do it in an easy and simple to understand format. And let me do it in a very simple way for you. So Kapila Muni said that there are two permanent entities which are always present in this existence, and he defined them. He defined one such permanent entity as Purusha and the other such permanent entity as Prakriti. So now let us look at what is Purusha and what is Prakriti. Purusha means the individual soul. If you want to understand it from the perspective of the modern man. So Purusha means the individual soul. And this individual soul, this Purusha, is infinite. This Purusha is eternal. This Purusha is permanent. And this Purusha is non-changing. This Purusha is a constant. So, here we are talking about one entity which is consciousness, pure consciousness, which is non-changing consciousness, which is eternal consciousness, and which is a permanent consciousness. It always remains there. It was there at the beginning of existence, it is there now, and it will always be there. How far away you move away in time in existence. So that is Purusha. The other entity is Prakriti. Prakriti also is permanent. Prakriti also is eternal, and Prakriti also is changing. So what is the basic fundamental difference between these two entities? The essential fundamental difference between these two entities is, one, the Purusha is non-changing, constant, and the Prakriti is changing and is therefore a non-constant. So now two entities, two principles, two tattvas, the changing and the non-changing, they are brought together. So when the changing and the non-changing are brought together, now how are they brought together is something which Sankhya is silent about. But let's say sometime in the very, very, very distant past, at the time this existence got formed, we do not know when, okay? Nobody can put a time and a date to it. It may have never been a birth of an existence. It may have always existed. We don't know. That's something we have to contemplate and conjecture on. But to understand this philosophy and its power and its depth and its intensity, its ability to put you in the driver's seat of this universe, this cosmos, is what is more important for you to understand and comprehend here in my talk today. So Prakriti is permanent, Prakriti is eternal, and Prakriti is ever changing. So there is a time when Prakriti, its loose English word, can be understood as nature. When Prakriti is changing but in equilibrium. So what does it mean that the Prakriti is changing but this Prakriti is in equilibrium? So Prakriti has three qualities. These qualities are termed as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So let's take a brief look at what is Sattva, what is Rajas and what is Tamas. Sattva means the quality of form. Yes, there is form in Prakriti. there is form in nature. So the quality of form is sattva. Sorry, I got it wrong. The quality of formlessness, of the formless, is sattva. And there is form in this universe, in this cosmos, in this nature, as we know. So the quality of form is tamas. So now we have two qualities which have been introduced to you, and these qualities are opposite of each other. One is the quality of formlessness, and other is the quality of form. So the quality of formlessness is sattva, the quality of form is tamas. Now both these qualities are not fixed stationary qualities. They keep on changing. Changing with what? Changing with time. So there is another factor, though Kapila Muni has not specifically mentioned it, and there is an important reason for that. We will see it once when we do the classes on the Sankhya Darshan, that is time, Kala. So if you look at these two, Prakriti and the Purusha, Purusha does not change with time, and Prakriti changes with time. Purusha is constant in time, Prakriti is constantly changing in time. So this quality of constant change is called Rajas. So this quality of transformation is called Rajas. So there are three essential qualities: the quality of formlessness, the quality of form, and the transformation quality of converting a formless to a form or a form to a formless. So these three qualities exist in Prakriti. Now these three always coexist. When Prakriti is in an unmanifest state, when it cannot be seen, then these three qualities are in a kind of equilibrium. So what it means is the overall state of Prakriti is unmanifest. There is nothing which is manifested. There is nothing which can be seen. It is invisible. And the Purusha also, because it is formless, it is a pure conscious entity, it is constant, it is eternal, it is permanent. So these two are invisible. And then let us say, because of any reason, they come close to each other. These two concepts, they merge. These two principles, they merge. These two tattvas, they come close to each other. Then there would be a border area. There would be an area which would be an interface between these two tattvas, between these two principles, between these two concepts. So that is what constitutes the mind. So when matter in its fluctuating state comes close to the spirit in its non-fluctuating state, the end result is a mix of pure consciousness and pure matter. This is the mind. Now, because it is a mix of both Prakriti and Purusha, this first product of both of them is called Mahat. This Mahat is the great principle, the great tattva. Mahat is Mahatattva. Mahatattva in a short form is called Mahat. This Mahat is the seed of the cosmic intelligence. This Mahat is the seed of the cosmic mind. This Mahat is the seed of the cosmos. So now we have an evolution which has started. Now we have a baby which has come about. And this baby is the Mahat. And the Mahat is virtually formless. Because we saw that the Purusha was formless and the Prakriti in its nascent stage, in its primordial stage, in its stage of equilibrium was invisible, could not be seen. So there, out of two unseen, two invisible entities, what comes out first is an invisible entity, is a formless entity, or you can say a formless tattva, formless principle, which is called the Mahat. This Mahat grows and it moves further. Now, since this Mahat represents the cosmic mind, so we see that all of us have individual minds. So where do our individual minds come from? So Kapila Muni says, out of this cosmic mind, there are small portions which are connected to the individuals. So the first thing which is a part of that cosmic intelligence is the individual intelligence. And this individual intelligence is similar in nature to the cosmic intelligence, but differs in the scale of it. The cosmic intelligence is at a cosmic scale, the individual intelligence is at the individual scale. So this individual intelligence is called Buddhi. We commonly call it the intellect also of an individual. Now this Buddhi, this intelligence gives rise to another tattva, another principle, which is called Ahankara. Ahankara means Ahamkara. Aham is me, I. Kara means doership, action. So Ahamkara means I am the doer, so I will act. Now here the individual element has come in from the cosmic level of things. So we had the individual intelligence, the Buddhi, and then from there the Buddhi gives rise to individual action power, individual karta, individual doer. So what will this doer do in order to do anything? This doer needs an infrastructure, needs a system by which he can do. So the Ahankara sets about creating that infrastructure, evolving that infrastructure, evolving those principles, those tattvas around him, which can help him to think and execute whatever he wants to do. So the first thing he creates, he evolves, is the mind, also called the manas. The second thing which he creates are the five senses of perception. They are also called the five Gyan Indriyas. The third thing he creates are called the five senses of action. They are also called the five Karmendriyas. So this doer, this Ahankar, this egoship which has come, it has to sense first what is around it, because it is an individual in a cosmos of other individuals. It is an individual in a cosmos of other matters and minds. So it needs to feel its environment, it needs to sense where it is before it decides to act. That is why the Ahankara, the doer, creates for itself, for its own security, for its own decision making, for its own decision of what to act, how to act, when to act. It creates for itself these senses of knowledge. So it picks up knowledge from the outer environment. That knowledge comes to the mind. The mind now processes this knowledge. And when the mind processes this knowledge with the support of the inner intelligence and with the guidance of the doer there, it takes a call, takes a decision, and passes on instructions of action to the senses of action. So the senses of action are acting in the environment outside. The senses of knowledge, the senses of perception are picking in information from the environment outside. And the entire internal mechanism of buddhi, of the ahankara, of the manas decide and give the instructions to act. Now this ahankara does not stop here. It goes further. It creates the tanmatras. It knows that whatever it is sensing and whatever it is acting out, whatever this communication is taking place, it has to be powered up. It has to be created at the subatomic level so that these senses can work, the sense organs can function. So to do that, it goes at a slightly grosser level. It picks up some form now. Till this stage, everything was formless. So you cannot see the mahat, you cannot see the buddhi, you cannot see the ahankara, you cannot see the manas, you cannot see the jnanendriyas, you cannot see the karmendriyas, but what you can see are these basic, I would say cellular, atomic, subatomic structure of the powers of senses. What you can see is the human body, which is gross, which has a form, which is tamasic. What you can see, therefore, are the 5 sense organs. What you can see are the 5 organs of action, and you cannot see the others which have come from the inner side. That is the Purusha, the Prakriti, the Mahat, the Buddhi, the Ahankara, the Manas, the Jnanendriyas and the Karmendriyas. Now the direction which the Ahankara takes to create new principles are all concerned with form. It is bringing about form in the creation. It is bringing some form of matter, structure, some physicality into its creation. So what does it do? These tanmatras, these subatomic energies, powers of perception, they, based on their ability, now create the matter outside. So it begins by first creating the most subtle tattva, the most subtle principle, and that is Akasha. So the tanmatra, the first tanmatra which works here is sound. So sound with ahankar creates Akasha. Akasha with ahankar creates the tanmatra of touch. Touch with ahankara creates the tattva of Vayu. Vayu with ahankara creates the tattva of Roop or shape or form. Form with ahankara creates Agni. Agni now acts with ahankara and creates taste, the tanmatra of taste. Taste acts with ahankara and creates Jal. Jal acts with tanmatra and creates smell, gandh, and Gandha acts with Tanmatra and the Ahankara and creates Prithvi. So you see here what happens is these 5 Tanmatras, they keep on acting with the Ahankara, and as they keep on acting with the Ahankara, they keep on producing gross tattvas, gross principles. These gross tattvas, these gross principles are also called the Panch Mahabhut, and the Tanmatras are also called the subtle elements. So there are 5 subtle elements, 5 Tanmatras, and there are 5 Mahabhutas, which are namely Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu and Akash. So at the very outer level, at the very outermost periphery, we have 20 tattvas. Okay? 5 into 4. What are these? The 5 outermost are the Panch Mahabhut. Then you have the senses of action, 5 of them, senses of perception or senses of knowledge, 5 plus 5 of them. So there are 10 of them here. And slightly inside you have the 5 Tanmatras. So there are 20 principles, 20 tattvas of the creation which we are looking at as per Samkhya philosophy. Now apart from these 20, you have 3 which are internal, which are concerned with the mind, with the, I would say, with the inner complexities of a human being. So here you have the mind, the ego and the intellect, or the manas, the ahankara and the buddhi. Sometimes it is considered, and it is rightly so, that both buddhi and mahat are essentially the same, but their scale of operations are different. Mahat is cosmic in nature, buddhi is individual in nature, but it is essentially the same tattva. So they are counted as the same tattva. So you have 3 internal tattvas. You have manas, you have ahankara and you have mahat. So this makes it 23. 20 which we saw earlier and 3 of the internal organs, the internal mind system. Okay, so this makes it 23. The 24th is the term I would introduce is Mool Prakriti or primordial Prakriti or Prakriti in its nascent stage, in its original state of equilibrium. So these first 23 which I told you, they are evolutes. They have come out of the Mool Prakriti. And the 25th is entirely different from Prakriti and its evolutes, because Prakriti and its evolutes are constantly changing. They are not steady, and all of them, all 24 of them, exhibit the qualities of Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. That is, all these 24 exhibit the qualities of form, formlessness and transformation. But the Purusha is the lone tattva which is separate from all of them. Purusha does not have a form, though Purusha is formless, but Purusha is unchanging. So this is the matrix of 25 tattvas, and if you follow them, if you do a study of them, then you will find your ego is the driver in this creation. Your ego, if it wants to move further into the world outside of the Panch Mahatattvas, it can move into that world outside. It can create a new world outside. using the organs of action. It can perceive what is there in the world outside through the five senses of perception, and then it can decide what it needs to do to modify, change, add on or delete in the world outside, and then it can do that using its intellect, the power of the ego, and of course the mind. But if the ego realizes that when it is looking at the world outside, working on the world outside, taking the inputs from the world outside, one experience which it is always getting from this world is the experience of sorrow. Sorrow is a permanent tattva, permanent entity, permanent principle in his life. And he sees this sorrow is also the permanent experience, permanent entity, permanent principle, permanent tattva in everybody else's life. In the life of all beings, be they plants, be they animals, be they insects, be they fish, be they any form of bacteria, whatever, he realizes that all living beings experience sorrow. So if he starts searching for a solution, for relief from sorrow, if he starts looking for a way to achieve permanent happiness in his life, to experience Paramananda in his life, then he has to bring his attention back from the world to his sense organs, to his mind, to his ego, and further back to the intellect, to the Mahat, to the Prakriti in the Mool stage, in the nascent primordial stage, and to Purusha. So when he becomes conscious that he is a Purusha, when he realizes that he is a pure consciousness, he is permanent, he is eternal, he is non-changing. Once he gets this realization, then the experiences of the world do not affect him. Then he is free from all sorts of sorrow. And as he is doing this journey from the outer world to the inner world and further in, then he grows in power, he grows in knowledge, he grows in happiness, he grows in health, and he reaches a stage of omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence, and Param Ananda. So this is the Samkhya philosophy. This is the 25 Tattva theory of evolution, which was propounded by Kapila Muni thousands of years back. And this theory has been used by many philosophies and religions on the Indian subcontinent. This forms one of the basic structures of various philosophies which have come about on our planet. And if you understand these 25 tattvas of evolution of our creation, you will also understand many more things. You will understand the law of causation. You will understand how things happen, get created in our cosmos. And then this gives you the power to create anything you want in your life. It gives you the power to even design your next life, your 100 lives after life, because Sankhya talks about the theory also of transmigration. So in the theory of transmigration, we find that the subtle body, which constitutes of the, you can say, the buddhi, the ahankara, the manas, the jnanendriya, the karmendriya, and the tanmatras, they remain after a person's death. When a person dies, he does away with the five gross tattvas, with the Panch Mahabhutas. So the elements of Dharti, Jal, Agni, Vayu and Akash disappear from him. The elements of earth, water, fire, air and ether disappear from him. They remain on the planet. They become part of earth. But the subtle which is so light that they cannot be seen, they are sort of invisible, they carry on. And remember, they also are part of Prakriti, they also are part of so-called nature, and they move on, they pick up a new body, they move on probably to a new planet, a new system, and again the same process goes on. So the various deep concepts which have come from the ancient spiritual land of India can be understood in complete depth if you understand the Samkhya philosophy in a proper manner. And if you are able to do it, then let me tell you, this is the most powerful philosophy that mankind has ever heard or seen or can live with. It can give phenomenal results in the simplest possible manner. And if it is presented well, even a class 5 student can understand it in a few classes. This is Samkhya for you. I thank you all for being part of this series of talks. We are delivering these series of talks to help you understand how to achieve permanent happiness in this life. And we hope and are sure you will teach the same to your family members, to the members of your society, to the people of your country and the people of this world at large. And together we can build a happy planet, and we can leave behind us for our coming generations a happy planet. So I thank you once again for being part of today's talk. I look forward to meeting you again tomorrow, same time at 7 p.m. Thank you so much. God bless you, and may you have permanent happiness in your present life. Thank you so much. Thank you.